Hello everybody, Joe Locklear here. Happy to announce we have another deal ready to go for a smart investor. Let's begin with looking at the neighborhood. Gonna zoom in here. Of course, we're in Jacksonville, Florida. This gives you an idea of the city. Most of the city is within this 295 loop. We're on the north part of Jacksonville here, not far from Trout River. As we zoom in, it's at 3149 Hickorynut Street. I am very familiar with Hickorynut Street because one of my best friends grew up on that street right across the street from this home. Now, what's nice about this area, if you go this direction, let me zoom back out a little bit, you have the Riverview neighborhood. Now, this is a great rental area. However, the houses are a little older and they're smaller, and the yards are about 1/4 the size of the yards when you cross over here. When you cross over Ribault Avenue, the lots get bigger, the houses get nicer. This home sits on almost a half-acre lot. It is a huge lot. And another good factor is this is a new subdivision. I'd say it's probably 6 years old, 7 years old. There is another new subdivision here and here. Now, until the mortgage crisis in '06, these things were selling like hotcakes at prices around $100,000. So as the market comes back, which I believe it eventually will, it's going to really raise the comps for these houses in here. So this is a very rentable house. It is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, concrete block house, about 1,250 square foot with a garage on a huge lot. So let's take a little closer look as we come in here. Sits right back in here. Okay, that gives you the location. I'll zoom back out again so you can get a little look at it right where it is. Now let's take a look at the house itself. Okay, this is the living room in the house. As you can see, the house is furnished right now. I'm buying this house from a very close friend of mine, and he had been allowing his mother-in-law to live here. She was bedridden for a while, and she lived here for a while. He then moved in a nephew, didn't even charge him any rent. He lived there for a while, but when he moved out, he left it a little messy. It's not too bad, but all this will be gone at closing. But it'll give you an idea of the fact that the house is fairly well kept and it does not need a ton of renovation. Okay, so this is looking out into the front yard. Now the yard is really grown up. And when I say really, I mean it's almost waist high in areas. It was a very, very nice yard. In fact, the owner of this home used to be in the landscape business. So it was nice. It could be nice again, but it does need a lot of yard work. Okay. This is the dining room. It has a little small, I'll say small, it's average size, formal dining room. And you can see, you can look at the paint. The paint's good. Everything's pretty good. Here is the kitchen. And it has nice cabinets. It has tile countertops. And it has tile flooring. There is an eat-in table. There's room for that. Okay. So it has a nice little kitchen, doesn't need much in the kitchen. Now this bar that I'm going to show you would be right over here just past the table. So it has a serving bar, and now the dining room is right over in this direction, would be to your right from the photo. This again has a tile top. Mainly what this house needs inside, I mean, I put some paint in the pro forma just in case. It needs everything pretty much moved out of it. Okay, let's go outside. This is the front yard. You can see about what I mean by it being grown up. It has newer windows. The roof is not very old. There is one problem where it wasn't flashed properly where the electric mast comes through, so it needs a small repair. But overall, I believe this roof's only about 6 years old. Okay, now I don't like the contrast too much. I think this looks blocky. I would come in and take this color paint and paint the cedar the same color. It would make the house look longer, and that's in my opinion, of course. Does have a little recessed porch going into the front door. Okay, this is as you walk into the front door. The living room that I showed you first is over to your left. The kitchen is straight ahead. There's the little, you have a little dining table here and a little nook here. In my opinion, you don't really need both. And then you have a formal dining room that's over here to the right. So this could be uncluttered quite a bit by taking this table out, and it'd be a really nice kitchen. And even the colors in this house are very nice. You know, my friend has good taste. This is kind of a melon green. This is an off-white. You know, I may be a little high on the construction cost because you may not have to paint the inside of this house. Okay, now we're back outside, and I'm looking over the hood of my truck. You can see how the hedges are grown up. They just need to be cut down. The grass, if it were mowed, would probably be decent. And again, it is a huge yard. It's 200 foot deep and 95 foot wide, which I believe is about 0.43 acres. It has a single garage. As you go around the right side of the house, there is a single garage with a nice garage door. I believe it does have an electric opener inside. This is the side of the house. As you can see, some vines need to be pulled off and some touch-up paint, a little pressure washing, but it has good windows, and it's a masonry home, which is good. Now you're standing at the back of the lot and looking at the house. Look how far away the house is. So this is a very deep, very nice backyard. Let's move inside the garage. It is attached. There is a door that goes right back into the home right here. It's another look, looking back or looking across the garage. I'm standing in the doorway that walks into it right now. Now the bedrooms are just stacked with stuff. This is a lot of stuff that's going to come out of the house. The people that are selling it to me are going to remove all this stuff before closing. Second bedroom is, I didn't even try to walk in it. It's bigger than it looks too, because I just opened the door and took a shot. And there is the third bedroom. Here is the bath. And it doesn't really need a new toilet, it just needs a new seat. The lid is there, it's just sitting off. Another shot of the bath. This is the bathtub. You can't see a lot of it there, but it's in pretty good condition. I believe it just needs to be cleaned. Most of the bath is just cleaning. You know, if there was someone out there that didn't want me to go in and do the rehab, that wanted to do this themselves, this would be a good house to do it. I mean, really, you could pretty much clean up the inside and rent it as is. Now, I thought about putting new carpet in here and in the bedrooms, but it's tile with nice ceramic tile down the hallway. That's another picture of the kitchen. Now, I took these pictures to show you the neighborhood so you can see what I mean about the big lots, and it's got decent houses in this neighborhood. It's a rural area. It's not like an in the city subdivision. And here's a picture of the house across the street, which is a very nice house. As you can see, this is a very, very good neighborhood to have a rental with a big lot, a masonry rental with a newer roof. To tell you the truth, I'm almost talking myself into keeping this one as I talk. I may go get a small private loan and keep this one if it doesn't sell very quick, because it is a keeper. It is the kind of home that you can go into, and later on when the mortgage money loosens up, this home could be resold. and I believe right now it's worth about 55,000. I can tell you my friend was in it for 92,000. And so that gives you an idea of where this neighborhood could go. Of course, you should never buy for appreciation. You should buy for cash flow today. And with that said, let's go to the pro forma and see what kind of cash flow is available here. So to be able to analyze the cash flow, we first got to be able to look at the cost of the remodeling. So I've got to pressure wash the exterior, about $172. You've got to repair the roof at that electric mast, about $300. Yard work, now there's a ton of yard work. This yard is huge and it's high, so I put $500 in there to get the yard in shape. The exterior paint is just partial, about $200. The interior paint, I put $836 in here. I really don't think you'd spend that, but since there's a lot of stuff stacked up in those bedrooms and I can't see the condition of the walls, I put it in there. This could be some money you could save. Now you are going to have to replace the package HVAC unit. Called my AC guy, got a price. We can do that for about $1,300. The electrical distribution panel, it is a Federal Pacific panel. It is functional. However, the insurance companies will not accept that panel. They will insure this house with the panel in it. So I put $1,200 in there to replace that panel. There is a couple of pieces of chip tile, about $100 for that. I put new carpeting. Now the chances are you may not have to spend all this, but I can't get in the bedrooms that well to see the carpeting. I don't know what's underneath all those stacked up boxes. Knowing the people that live there, it probably is in pretty good shape, but I put the money in there just in case. Replace the mini blinds. It needs mini blinds. That's about $150. You've got some interior doors that need to be replaced. You need to rekey everything, so I put all new hardware on the exterior doors. I always throw something in for miscellaneous electrical, about $500, and miscellaneous plumbing. Now this is on a well and septic. I know it needs a well pump and a tank. Okay, about $550. Now the service line going out there is old. My friend told me that it does need to be replaced. I wouldn't have known that unless he told me, but he's a good, honest guy. So you're going to have about $300 for that. And then I would have the septic tank pump. He told me it was working fine, but it's been 6 months. I'll put this money in there just in case, because it's a good idea to go in and pump it out and have it inspected. About $300. Miscellaneous items. I always put something in here for miscellaneous, about $1,000. What that does, that picks up all the small items that you may have missed, or any items that aren't in this estimate. For example, if there's a little nick here and you got to patch it on the wall, things that come up. Okay, and then a final major professional cleaning, about $150. Now that puts the cost on this rehab, in my opinion, at about $9,500. And then you're going to need a contractor to do it, about 20%, which is what we charge to do this, and we certainly will do it for you. You should be in the rehab at about $11,500. Okay, so let's carry that over and let's look at what that means. This is a pro forma, and we're going to put the information in here. The purchase price, that is incorrect. It is $26,000. Okay, is $26,000. The rehab cost from the rehab estimate is $14,449. I put $1,000 in for your closing cost and pay for your first month's insurance. I'm saying the home would be worth about $55,000. Your monthly rent would be about $800. You may get a little more than that, but I want to be conservative. And then I'll put a 2% appreciation. This is really an inflation factor, about 2%. Okay, so that puts your basis in this home at about $41,500. So that is how much you would have in this base. So you'd start out with pretty good equity, about $13,000 in equity. Okay, that would put your monthly cash flow after all expenses at about $503. Let's look a little closer at this. This is your purchase price, your rehab cost, your interim money cost, closing cost, about $1,000. That's mostly closing cost. That puts your basis at $41,500. It's worth 55. Your monthly rent is 800. I put a 5% vacancy ratio, 5% for maintenance. I did put property management in here. I believe professional property management is a necessity. I don't even manage my own property, so I put 10% in here for you to have the property managed, and we certainly will manage it for you if you'd like us to. I put the taxes in from the tax roll, $60 a month for insurance. And when you put all that together, it gives you a net spendable income after paying for maintenance, reserves, vacancy, taxes, insurance, and professional management of about $503 a month. Now that equates to a net cash on cash return of about 14.22%. Try getting that in your savings account, even in your IRA. This would be an excellent property to invest IRA money in. You're looking at about a 14% return, which is about $503 a month on about a $42,500 investment. So if you look over here, this takes you out 10 years. I won't spend a lot of time on this. You start at 503, but based on this 2% inflation factor, then you should wind up at about $641 a month net spendable in 10 years, which of course would increase your return later. What the property will be worth, who knows? This is showing a 2% inflation factor, puts you at about 67 in 10 years, so you should have real good equity then. However, I tell people you do not buy a house based on what you think you can sell it for later. You buy it for one reason and one reason only, and that is net spendable cash flow. This is an investment. It's not speculation. The stock market is speculation. This is an investment. This is your cash flow. This is what you can expect would be an excellent place to invest for your retirement. Okay, that is all I've got to show you on this one. I hope you like it. And if you're interested in this one, don't hesitate. Give me a call. I'll give you the door code, or you can actually follow the link in the email to my website and shoot me an email from there. Just get a hold of me and tie this thing up if you're interested in a great investment, because this is a very, very good investment. I'm going to advertise it a few days, and then I'm going to look for some money to buy it myself. Okay, thanks a lot. I'll catch you on the next one.